Hi ho, folks, and welcome back to the adventures of Turwinkle, the Gnome Mage. Well, hi, Turwinkle.
Hello.
Are you all set for tonight?
Sure.
Well, great, because tonight we're going to be talking to Heerodin of the Temple Guild, and we're going to find out all about his wonderful RP. So without further ado, let's see if we can find him here in Redbridge. We're out here at the lake, and so we're going to see if we can't find him at Lakeshire. So let's take a look and see if we can find him. All right, folks, well, let's see if we can find, and oh, right off the bat we found him. Dragon Slayer Heerodin here from the guild, the Temple Guild, who we just interviewed not too long ago, and unfortunately he wasn't able to make that event, but luckily we have him all to ourselves this evening, and we're going to find out all about his RP. So good to meet you, sir.
Hello there.
It's wonderful that you have taken this time to sit down with Turwinkle and answer all his questions. So folks, when we come back, we are going to just hop right into it. So we'll be right back with that. And we are back. And so, sir, one of the first questions we always ask is, how did you come up with the name? And I'm going to let you pronounce it.
All right. Thanks for having me, Turwinkle. My name is Heerodin. I came up with the name Heerodin first, and that's actually kind of a longer story, but I'll try and summarize it. So basically, my friend rewrote some kind of language, and my actual name translated into hero. And then I decided that's a pretty cool name, so I made my character's name into hero, and I decided that's just not enough, so I added the din at the end.
Okay. And how did you?
Eoin, I just sort of came up with after I came up with Heerodin. Not sure where it came from. I don't know.
All right. Do you use that name for any other characters?
I use the name Heerodin for most of my stuff and most video games. I don't think I've ever reused the name Eoin.
Okay, and you'll find that, again, most people will do that. Once you find a name that you really like, you'll hang on to it and take it with you from game to game to game. So you'll find that there's probably a lot of Heerodins in the games that you play, huh?
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. So, folks, when we come back, what we're going to do is we're going to dig into Heerodin's MRP here. So we'll be right back with that. Alrighty, folks, and we are right back with Heerodin's MRP. And so, as we see here, he's the Silver Templar, and that's your nickname. How did you get that nickname?
My guild, the temple, they have a little story behind them, and it has to do with the silver light rather than the gold light. And I'm a Templar in the guild, so that's kind of where it comes from.
Oh, okay. And so your role-playing style, you enjoy walk-ups, so you enjoy people just coming up and RPing with you, which is wonderful. Jade-eyed, human is your race. You're 6'7", which is pretty tall. You are currently calculating. What are you calculating?
That is a secret.
Oh, okay. So very calculating thoughts then, I guess. We'll leave it at that. Now you have a wonderful, wonderful description here of your character. Can you kind of highlight that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that clicking noise. Okay. Well, basically, it's everything you can see on my character: red armor, the belt, and the two swords, and the cape, and the hat where he really disguises my face. And I also have my hair description in there, which I'd have to take my hat off to show you. So yeah.
Okay. So basically, folks, when you walk up, and if you're doing one of those walk-ups with Heerodin, and you open his MRP, again, you have a very descriptive post here on what you're seeing. And so not so much as just looking at the toon from your screen, you get a very detailed description of that, which is wonderful. Now he even goes even further than that and talks about his favorite food, which is Yongle noodles. He loves them spicy and he rarely eats meat. He's not a true vegetarian, but in some cases he'll eat the flesh of an animal. I guess depending on how much protein you need at the moment. He serves as a dragon slayer and a dragon ambassador. He speaks Common, Pandaren, what is it? Draconic, yeah. Slightly broken Thanasian. Plays a class of dragon slayer. Figure what that is, Iceli. His alignment is neutral good and allegiance to the temple, all Pandaren factions, alliance, red dragonflight, blue dragonflight, green and bronze dragonflight. He's a practicer of the light, but is not too into the religion. And you have some specials here. Now, what are these specials?
Those are mostly for me, just to remind myself what kind of character I play, just in case I forget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Just to
wonderful.
guide myself.
Now, you have a theme song, and it's Goodbye by Soap and Skin. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And what kind of song is that?
If you've ever watched the show Breaking Bad, it plays in the background of one of the episodes, and I really liked it. It's just a kind of a face-off music between two characters. So
Oh, well, wonderful. And you have a mount that is a dark cloud serpent named Vigilance, which is awesome. And so great. So a wonderfully well-written MRP for your appearance. And so, folks, when we come back, we're going to look a little bit into his biography. So we'll be right back with that. All right, folks, and we are back with Heerodin's biography. And so we find that he's 24 years of age. He doesn't have a home. So you just travel with the Temple Guild then, is that correct?
yeah, I basically just lodge wherever they are.
Okay, so home is wherever you lay your head.
Right.
Okay. And you were born in Hillsbrad Foothills. And you have a motto here. It says, "And so we go." So what does that mean?
It's just something to say when you're ready to move on, or you're ready to tell people that you're ready to move on.
Oh, okay. And where did you get that?
I got it from a book series, a young adult book series called Pendragon.
Oh, wonderful. And so how much does reading play into your RP?
Oh, a huge portion of it, and just probably 90%.
Oh, great. Well, we'll get more into that in a little bit here, but let's continue on with your history. And you have quite a few feats that Heerodin has done, and most of them it looks like involves dragons here. Can you kind of cover that for us?
Okay. Basically, my character, as a couple years ago, he got involved with a ring of dragon slayers, which he is not too proud of, but he worked with them nonetheless, and he was probably one of the best they had. And so all the things you can see there, slaying 500 dragons, that's an exaggeration, he tells people.
Okay.
He's killed quite a few dragons. He broke a dragon. He didn't kill it, but he broke it, called Baal Thor. That's a character I also made up. Drakengard, that is a group of dragon slayers that he worked for. And he befriended all the dragonflights, minus the black dragonflight, of course, and the cloud serpents.
Okay, well, wonderful. And so I see you still do have some family left. You have an aunt and a cousin and a younger cousin as well that are still alive. Now, do other people play those tunes, or are those just background characters for you?
The aunt is made up. The elder cousin, Foundred Heerodin II, that's a paladin that I play, and Heerodin is my actual cousin who plays a warrior named Heerodin.
Okay, wonderful. And you also have a list of friends here, and so are all these people, again, the same thing, or?
Those are all real players right there, except for Master Yikai. That's a character I also made up. He's just a background character.
Oh, wonderful. And the teachers, are these people from your guild?
No, these are mostly characters made up. I didn't make up Alexstrasza, of course. I learned from her while I spent time in the Dragon Temple there in Dragonblight.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Wonderful. So when we get back, folks, we're going to talk a little bit about his RP and go into a little bit more of his history and some of his storyline as well. So we'll be right back with that. All right, folks, and we are back. And so, how would you classify your RP? Are you a heavy RPer?
I try and get into it as much as I possibly can.
All right, so you do quite a bit of RP then?
Uh, yeah, but I don't get the opportunity that much. But when I do have the opportunity, I get really into it.
Oh, well, wonderful. Well, the Temple Guild is definitely a very heavy RP guild, and folks, if you've seen that episode, certainly you'll know what we're talking about when we're talking about the Temple Guild. Is that something you enjoy about that guild?
Oh yeah, they gave me the most opportunities to role play, and they're really good about it. I mean, they got their own meetings and the uniforms. It's a big amount of fun. I said that funny.
Well, you bet. And again, folks, if you haven't seen that episode, definitely check it out, and you will see what Heerodin and I are talking about when we say that they're a heavy RP guild, and they're wonderful uniforms. I think they have the best uniforms out of any guild that I've interviewed.
Thank you.
You bet. So, getting back to your RP, how long have you been RPing Heerodin here?
I started role playing at the beginning of Cataclysm. I originally played on the realm Tyrannus, which is a very old realm, and I switched over to this one because I I like the idea of role playing.
Oh, well, wonderful. And so, did you start RPing on this realm, or did you do any on the other realm?
Tyrannus is not an RP realm at all, and they don't have any RP there, so I had to switch to this realm to begin my role playing career.
And what interested you in coming to RP?
I was trying to think about that before I started the interview, but for the life of me, I can't even remember. I must have seen a YouTube video or something. I don't know. It just seems like an interesting concept.
Well, wonderful. So how hard was it for you to learn how to RP?
I'm sure most starting role players do. I god modded a little without trying to. I didn't really understand how everything worked, and I got a little too into it, and I was really called bad, and I understand for that. So I went onto the forums. I read about it, and the forums is a wonderful place, the World of Warcraft forums, to learn about the role playing. So.
Okay, wonderful. And how long have you been in the Temple Guild?
I can't remember my exact date I joined, but I think I've been here for a little over a couple of months now.
Okay, so when you first came to Wormrest Accord, did you RP by yourself for a while, or did you find a guild right off the bat?
I role played myself with myself a little bit. Then I found a guild called I don't remember what it was called, but I joined that guild, and they weren't very good at role playing, so I moved on. I joined quite a few other role playing guilds since then, but I've settled down in this one. I really like it.
Well, wonderful. So, folks, when we come back, we're going to learn a little bit about his storyline and find out more about Heerodin. So we'll be back with that. All right, and we are back. And so, when you came to Wormrest Accord, did you make Heerodin right off the bat?
I actually transferred my character from Tyrannus. I leveled him. It was during Cataclysm. I had him at level 85 already, and I transferred him over here.
Oh, okay, so you had already PvE'd basically him up to
Right.
90, brought him over, and then started RPing with him. Is that correct?
Indeed.
All right. So, how did you come up with his storyline?
Um, from past storylines I've created, the failed storylines and the good ones I've created. So, this character had quite a few storylines, and I'm sure that changes for most people over time. I just kept the ideas that sounded good. And I was going through my titles, and then I just decided Dragon Slayer. So I made a whole story based on the Dragon Slayers.
Okay. And so give us a little history on him. Where does he come from, and what did he do up to this point?
Heerodin started as a farmer with his uncle in the Hillsborough foothills, and his uncle was a paladin, and he had raised him his whole life because his dad, Daedrin Heerodin, died. He was a paladin also, but when Heerodin was just a little kid, he got turned into a Death Knight, and his uncle had to actually go kill him.
Oh, gosh, okay.
And his mother died giving birth to him, so he never met his parents.
Oh, man, okay. And so he lived with his uncle, and when he became of age.
When he became of age, he decided he didn't want to be a paladin like his older cousin and his uncle had been, which is just fine by everybody else. Nobody really disgraced him for it. So he just set off, and he found a group called Drakengard, and he got involved with them. And as I said earlier, they're the Dragon Slayers.
All right, wonderful. And so he went on his adventures with those folks there. And so when did he part with them?
While he was fighting with them, he learned that they were actually evil and not killing dragons for the benefit of other people. They were killing good dragons. Alex Streza told him this. So he killed the leader, Alexander Drakengard, and some of the people still live today, and he's kind of been tracking them down. And then he ran into Temple, and so he's staying with them while he figures everything out.
Oh, wonderful. And how has your RP been incorporated with the Guild RP?
The leader, or one of the leaders, Aranis, she's a paladin. She was tracking my character for his skills in fighting dragons, because the Drakengard, they knew how to fight dragons. They had special techniques, and so she figured that they needed a person with that particular set of skills. So she tracked him down and gave him an invitation.
Oh, wonderful. And so you've been with them since?
Indeed, yeah.
Well, great. Well, that is a wonderful storyline. How long did it take you to develop that?
It started out as my character just being a dragon slayer, and I came up with other ideas that kind of correlated with a story I've been writing outside of World of Warcraft.
Okay, wonderful. And so, folks, when we get back, we're going to go into that a little bit and find out a little bit about the player behind the screen and get more into his writing and whatnot. So we'll be right back with that. All right, and we are back. And so, Heerodin, what can you tell us about you, the player behind the screen?
Well, I'm currently a high school student, and I like to write and play video games and role play, obviously. I do a little bit of tennis and ping pong, and I enjoy board games and tabletop games.
Oh, excellent. What tabletop games do you play?
I've started a few games of D&D, but I've never actually gotten the chance to finish.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. And do you find that any of your RP ideas come from D&D, or does it go the other way? Some of your D&D ideas come from WoW.
Yeah, that's it perfectly.
Oh, okay. And as far as writing, what kind of things do you like to write?
I write fantasy stuff. Everything I go into goes into one notebook that I have, and I've actually been coming up with a lot of ideas recently, and I'm gathering enough information to write a full-fledged story.
Oh, wonderful. And are you thinking about maybe doing that as a profession?
I don't plan on it being my main profession, obviously, and it's a little hard to rely on it. But I definitely plan to eventually finish a book and hopefully get one published. But
well, and I've said this before. I think that a lot of the RPers, if they just wrote down some of their RPs that they do within the game, they would have an excellent book on their hands, better than some of the published books about World of Warcraft. I think you'd find that a lot of these RPs rival some of the stories that Blizzard come up with. So Excellent. I look forward to hopefully seeing something that you've written down at the bookstore sometime.
All right, thanks.
You bet. And so, what other games do you like to play outside of World of Warcraft?
I've played. I don't play this too often, but I played a couple of games of Civilization 5. I played Dishonored. I really liked that game. Um, I'm not. I played Dragon Age, or I don't really play it that much anymore. And there's one other. I've played Hearthstone too. I'm in the beta for that.
Oh,
Well, I can't
wonderful.
remember else, but
Yeah, wonderful. All those are excellent, excellent games, and I enjoy Civilization 5 myself as well. So that is great. So, folks, when we come back, we're going to talk about some of how he got started with his RP and maybe some of the obstacles he had to overcome uh, while doing it. And he already mentioned a few of them, but we'll go into that a little bit more. So we'll be right back with that. Alrighty, and we are back. And so what we're going to talk about next is learning to RP in WoW. And I know for myself, one of the hardest things for me to learn was how to emote and how to try to keep up with these conversations, because sometimes that text can go by so fast, and if you're not a fast typer, you really get left behind. Pretty soon you're 3 or 4 paragraphs behind. How did you fare with that?
I fared pretty fine. Before I had gone into role playing, I had actually done a year of computers class, and that taught me how to type really fast. So I've been fine with that.
Oh, wonderful. And you have good spelling skills?
I'm decent. I
Okay.
slip every now and then.
Sure. Uh, so what do you think for new RPers, what do you think the hardest thing is to learn?
How to control a situation or how to respond to things people say, because you don't want to ever like say something that's a little bit out of character, like accidentally knowing what class somebody is.
Oh, right. And so kind of using outside knowledge of, say, what somebody's thinking or something, and as you had mentioned earlier, what people call God modding. Is that correct?
Yeah, right.
All right. So, folks, when we come back, what we're going to do next is we're going to see if we can get any advice from Heerodin to those new RPers and see what he's got to share with those folks. So we'll be back with that advice. All right, and we're back with Heerodin here. And again, what advice, sir, do you have for someone, say they're wanting to RP or they just joined the server to RP? What advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, the best thing to do is find a way to have fun with it, obviously. And the second thing, the more important part, I'd say, well, maybe not more important, but I would say read up as much as you can on the forums, and the World of Warcraft forums on the World's End Tavern tab. That's where I got most of my stuff. There's some pretty good information on how to create a character, and then read up on the lore behind your character's race. So if you're a night elf per se, don't so you don't actually say that you lived in the mountains with the dwarves 10 trillion years ago or something. I don't know, just something random. It's just you got to know about your character or about your race.
Okay, so excellent. Yeah, I think that's a mistake a lot of people make, is not learning the lore behind the race they've chosen or the class even. And so again, it is important to kind of have at least a foundation and know some of the basic information about your race and class if you're going to RP that. And so that's excellent, excellent advice, sir. So, folks, again, taking that advice and moving a little further with it, did something scare you there, sir?
I got AFK.
That's quite all right. Turwinkle does tend to ramble a little bit, and so I understand having to stretch the legs there, and that's quite all right. So, how important do you think spelling and punctuation, that sort of thing, is when you're RPing?
As long as you catch yourself and you don't do it every single sentence you type. But if you do it every once in a while, it's not too big of a deal. Just just make sure to correct yourself. Otherwise, you might confuse people.
And do you find that joining a guild that RPs makes it easier to learn how to RP?
Yeah, you get a ton of help and advice from all your guild members. If you're in the right guild, my guild happens to have a lot of friendly people, and they're always willing to help. So,
Well, wonderful. Well, excellent, folks. So when we come back, we're going to get some final thoughts from Heerodin. So we'll be right back with that. All right, folks, and we are back. And so, Heerodin, is there anything that you would like people to know about your character that we haven't covered here tonight?
yes, actually, thanks for asking. My character is just the beginning of his story. This character right here. I actually have another whole MRP set up for a future version of him in an armor set. If you want to look at that really quick, I just have it right here.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
MRP. I don't want to get into it though. It's pretty long too, as you can see. So, yeah, that's something I also do, but not when I'm with the guild. When I'm with the guild, I'm in this character right here.
All right. Well, that I am certainly looking forward to seeing what you've got in store for Heerodin down the line. It has been wonderful to learn about this Heerodin, and so I can only imagine the one that you've got coming up is going to be even better.
Thanks.
You bet. So, folks, when we come back, we're going to give our goodbyes to Heerodin, and then we will port Turwinkle back to the hinterlands to give his final thoughts. So we'll be right back. And we are back, and as you can see, Heerodin is in his temple uniform, which looks wonderful, sir.
Thank you.
Again, I will say it again, I think the temple guild uniforms are among the best in the game, and for a guild, so kudos.
Yeah, the guild creators did a really good job at designing these uniforms. And Blizzard's art is just wonderful, so we can thank them too for that.
You bet. Well, sir, thank you so much for spending some time with us tonight and filling us in on your RP.
Well, thank you for having me, Turwinkle. It was a pleasure being on here with you.
You bet. We certainly enjoyed talking with you and learning all about Heerodin and, again, your wonderful style of RP. And once again, we look forward to hopefully reading a book you may put out about this character sometime down the line.
All right. Sounds good.
You bet. So, folks, when we come back, we'll be in the hinterlands, and Turwinkle will put his final thoughts on this episode. All right. Well, we made it safely back to the hinterlands, and boy, what a great interview, wasn't it, Turwinkle?
Affirmative.
You bet. We had a great time with Heerodin, learning all about his awesome RP, the Dragon Slayer. And so let's give him a nice thank you for spending the time with us this evening.
Allow me to express my deepest thanks.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Heerodin. So, folks, if you liked the episode, click that like button. If you'd like to comment, do so below. Let us know how we're doing. And finally, if you'd like to subscribe, we'd love to have you on Team Turwinkle. Hit that subscribe button. Well, Turwinkle, excellent questions as always, sir. And Turwinkle, we will see you next time.
I'll miss you.
We'll miss you too, Turwinkle. Bye-bye.